Hi, I'm Katie Duke, and I've been a nurse for over 20 years. Listen, I used to think that I was my most stylish in my 20s, but honestly, style and confidence only get better with age. And that is why I love Figs. These scrubs are beautiful, comfortable, and they are built to last. They're not those boxy, scratchy uniforms that we all started out in. No. These fit perfectly. They feel amazing, and the quality is just wow! My favorite color? Burgundy. It's chic, it's timeless, and it's even the same color as my apartment, because I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I love adding custom embroidery to make my scrubs as personal as my style. And since I work in telehealth, my embroidered Figs even double as my ID badge. It's never too late to reinvent yourself or your scrubs. Get 15% off your first order at wearfigs.com with the code FIGSRX. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX for 15% off your first order.
Most people don't struggle to sleep because they're tired. They struggle because their brain hasn't been given permission to power down. Journaling is one of the simplest, most neuroscience-supported ways to quiet the brain's planning and stress centers, helping the mind feel relaxed, safe, and finally ready for sleep. On today's episode, we'll look at how journaling can not only improve your sleep, but also contribute to better daytime effectiveness as well. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilopod. Hello everybody, welcome back. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. As always, I am grateful for you, and I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to share the information that I have learned and am still learning about sleep and how to do a better job at that. So one of the things I came across recently was an article on journaling to help yourself sleep better. And I've always been one of those people that I always have started to journal, and I'll do it for a few days and then just sort of fall by the wayside. If you're one of those people like me that just thinks journaling starts with Dear Diary, you might want to pay attention to this one because there's a lot of science-backed information regarding how journaling can change our lives. And if you've ever felt physically tired but mentally awake at bedtime, you've experienced a very specific brain problem, not the lack of sleep drive, but excessive cognitive emotional activation. And from a neuroscience standpoint, poor sleep often isn't about willpower or discipline. It's about which parts of the brain are still firing when they should be quiet. Journaling works because it directly changes how several key brain regions process stress, emotion, and unfinished thoughts, especially at night. And as evening approaches, your brain should gradually shift from problem-solving mode into restorative mode. But for many people, the opposite happens. Now, there are three systems that are especially relevant here in your brain. The prefrontal cortex. This area handles planning and decision-making and future thinking. When you replay tomorrow's tasks or mentally rehearse conversations, the prefrontal cortex stays highly active, delaying your sleep onset. Second is the amygdala. This is the brain's emotional alarm system. It reacts strongly to uncertainty, threat, and unresolved stress. At night, when distractions drop away, the amygdala can become even more reactive. And the third is the default mode network. This is the network responsible for mind wandering and rumination and self-referential thought. It's the mental chatter that shows up when you're lying still in the dark. Now, when these systems stay engaged, the nervous system stays in a semi-alert state. Cortisol stays elevated and sleep pressure loses the battle. Now, journaling isn't just emotional expression. It's a cognitive reorganization process. And that's where I always have to try to sort of readjust my thinking about it. Research using neuroimaging and psychophysiological measures shows that writing has measurable effects on brain activity. That prefrontal cortex goes from overdrive to organization. Writing thoughts down externalizes them. Once thoughts are on paper, the prefrontal cortex no longer needs to actively rehearse or store them. Studies show that structured writing reduces working memory load, and it allows the prefrontal cortex to disengage more easily at bedtime. So in simple terms, your brain stops saying, "Don't forget this." The amygdala helps to lower emotional reactivity. Expressive writing has been shown to reduce the amygdala's activation in response to emotional stressors. When worries stay abstract, the amygdala treats them as unresolved threats. When they're written out, the brain categorizes them as defined and manageable. And this lowers emotional intensity and reduces nighttime anxiety. So the less emotional threat equals less physiological arousal. The hippocampus helps to encode memories and place experiences in context. Journaling helps the hippocampus file emotional experiences instead of leaving them active and unresolved. And this is particularly important for people with stress-related sleep problems. When experiences are organized into a narrative form, the brain perceives them as completed and not ongoing. I mentioned cortisol a lot, and it's a really important thing to be aware of because it follows a regular daily rhythm. Ideally, it drops in the evening to allow melatonin to rise. Chronic stress disrupts that rhythm. And multiple studies have shown that consistent journaling not only lowers evening cortisol levels, but it improves autonomic nervous system balance and it increases parasympathetic activity, and that's the rest and digest part of the brain. This shift it's critical for initiating and maintaining sleep. You're not necessarily relaxing yourself to sleep. You're actually biologically signaling safety to your nervous system. And the default mode network is most active when the mind is idle. That's why when we lay down to go to sleep, sometimes it feels like your brain just goes crazy. And that's exactly when you're trying to sleep, is when it does this. So writing before bed gives the default mode network an endpoint. And by engaging language centers and structured thought, journaling temporarily suppresses the default mode network. It slows that activity down. And that's why mental noise often quiets down after writing. Even if the content itself is emotional, the brain stops looping and starts releasing. Research has also shown that people who write specific tasks for the next day fall asleep faster than those who write about completed tasks from the day before. Why? Why is this important? Because the brain treats future tasks as unresolved goals. Writing them down signals that they've been captured and don't require ongoing mental rehearsal. This is particularly powerful for people with insomnia driven by hyperarousal and anticipatory stress. Now here's the thing. Journaling doesn't make problems disappear. What it does is tell your brain that problems are contained, not threatening, not urgent, not required to be solved at 2 a.m. When the brain feels organized and safe, sleep isn't forced, it's allowed. And sometimes the most powerful sleep intervention isn't pharmaceutical or high-tech. It's just neurological housekeeping. Hope this has been fun for you. It's been fun for me. I'm definitely actually started a couple weeks ago to journal again, and then I came across that article, so I was kind of reinforced to keep it up for myself. I will add a little bit of more information on the Patreon page. I may also add some to YouTube, so check those places out. And until we talk again, please remember to make sleep a priority. Thanks so much.
Most drivers overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because the system is needlessly complicated. Jerry fixes that. Traditional comparison sites give you quotes once, then disappear. But Jerry can handle all the insurance shopping legwork and never stops working. Compare 50-plus insurers side by side and purchase directly in the app. No spam calls, no hidden fees. They'll even monitor price trends and can alert you to better rates. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/libsyn today.